And this is why our city council is pissed poor. We are paying for it again. You're right. We are paying for it. We're paying for the skybox, like Martin would say on his episode. We're paying for that. We're paying for everybody else's children and residents to go. I ain't never sat my ass in a skybox.
I have to calm down because seeing that fat Coke bottled shrew sit up there and just advocate for illegals. What are you talking about? Kidnap? We're taking you back home.
You're not talking about misuse of funds, and you're talking about a fraction of the mayor's office budget, even though folks are trying to make it look like this was something done illegal. This is not that. We're going to continue to operate the same way that we have in the city of Baltimore, and that's with the utmost integrity, even when people try to make it like we're looking like we're doing the opposite. Thank you.
You believe, even if it's been going on, is that an appropriate use of taxpayer dollars? And then also, though, I know that your office spent nearly $4,000 on a goodbye party for somebody who never left and is still making almost $200,000. Why is that okay?
Yeah, I think, Mackenzie, we know that you guys want to make this out to be something that is not. Again, it's not just the city of Baltimore. The state of Maryland has skyboxes and have had them forever. And again, you're harping on this small amount of money, which you heard again. Nothing illegal was done here.
But is it appropriate?
If it's not illegal, then it's appropriate.
So you think that's okay for tax dollars to be spent on it?
I think it's okay for us someone who has spent money to have young people who have never been in that stadium before, who have never gotten invited before, who would have never had the opportunity to be there to do that. For people, for first responders, for people who clean up trash. Absolutely. So no matter what you guys are going to try to twist this into, absolutely, we're going to continue to make sure that actual residents can enjoy that ability to be in that spot and those skyboxes. That's all I have to say.
What
and just run what I said earlier. My response is what I gave you earlier.
Is Marvin's party okay?
It's not your money. These are things that private organizations need to do. What he was talking about, taking kids to the state, it's not in the government's role to do this. Let's get into, and did you all hear what he said? He said, if it's not illegal, then it's appropriate. What kind of trash is that? All right, folks, this one hits home. It's home hitting for us, folks, because we're here in Baltimore, Maryland. That was Democrat Mayor Brandon Scott of Baltimore City caught red-handed squandering nearly $900,000 of our money on elite perks while the city is crumbling under crime, poverty, and failing schools. Okay. Now, before I get you in on this, Shelley, we all know Baltimore City OIG, that's the Office for Inspector General, did an audit of the mayor's office P-card purchases from July 2022 to November 17th, 2025. It's a whopping $890,176 was spent on food, parties, flowers, 336 transactions dodging required approvals. I mean, there were violations as long as the Baltimore City streets, okay? Meals and catering, skybox splurges, flowers and funerals, farewell bash blowouts. I mean, the list goes on. And that was his response. It was a total deflection. Charlie, what are your thoughts?
First of all, Brandon Scott hates McKinsey. Okay. He hates those people at Fox because they are, number one, because they work at Fox, and number two, because they're white. How dare a white person come and ask him anything? Okay. That's been for years. I've said it before, posted it, whatever. I've said it on his page to him, everything. So that's number two. Number three, these people, this is their money. And in their aspect, the mayor's office, his budget, this is how he gets to keep a secret, if you will, or a closed budget for Monty. These credit cards, basically what they use, expenditure cards, all these people use it. And I will dispute Isabel Cumming to this point. the 800 something $1,000, let's just round it off to $1 million. Okay, a cool $1 million. That's just all she found in that time period. It's more than that. It's more than that, okay? It's been going on since before she came. And this is why our city council is pissed poor. These people, this is their money, and we are paying for it again. You're right. We are paying for it. We're paying for the skybox, like Martin would say on his episode. We're paying for that. We're paying for everybody else's children and residents to go. I ain't never sat my ass in a skybox. I've never said it, but I'm paying for other people to go with these wraparound services that never really work. And he's right. He's right. The state of Maryland does. Why? Why does a governor or a mayor, and I don't care who it is, why do they need a skybox? Why? Why do they need one off of our money to pay for everybody else's children to go? And I've never gotten a ticket. I never got my 2 free tickets every year for the skybox.
Yeah. It's a grift, okay? These people, the Democrats, these people in office, they do not care about the poor. They only care about the poor because they need them in order to continue these, like you mentioned, wraparound services, these NGOs, these nonprofits. They need the poor because they know they're padding these profits to give themselves money and things like this. This Absolutely. Is what it is.
Absolutely.
Baltimore has been a Democratic stronghold since 1967. And ever since, they've been breeding waste while residents suffer. Okay. But they need the residents to suffer in order to keep the grift going. All right. Absolutely. If they don't have poor people, they won't have these services where they can sift out of. They're sifting out of these services. All right. This is what's happening. They need these poor people. They need these services to then say it's okay to have a large government, a large budget. Speaking of the budget, he was in news about that. So this mayor, apparently the Baltimore city budget under this mayor has ballooned. So his budget, he has hired more people in his office than previous mayors. He has grown this office to a size, I can't remember how much larger it is. I believe it's like it's more than doubled, like, I believe.
Yeah, it's more than double. It's like over 40 something people, I think.
Yeah, but whatever that number was, it's much larger than any other mayor's cabinet. And they're not doing any better. Okay, so this is what we're talking about. We still have one of the highest poverty rates in the country, all right, at 21.8%. The national average is 11.5%. Violent crime, we have sky high, which is the violent crime is still high. It's 260 homicides last year. Our schools are failing with 0 students proficient in math in 23 schools last year. All right. But we see this mayor prioritizing parties over potholes.
Absolutely. And let's not forget his wife has the I guess the now defunct nonprofit that nobody can find out where the money has gone to, the building they're supposed to own. They take the government. This is what our government, local government, state, take taxpayer money. They set up nonprofits, which should be illegal. Why should a government set up a nonprofit, a preferred company, if you will, and then funnel our taxpayer money to it? That's number one. Number two, the potholes in Baltimore are basically damn near sinkholes. Okay, I have called 311. That's the local non-police emergency number. I've called 311 so much in the last month. I think they got my number blocked. Because I tried to call yesterday, the call just didn't go through. Didn't go through at all. I think they got my number blocked or was on some kind of alert. But this is what we get. And this little pipsqueak bitch of a mayor, like his big ass bitch of a governor, they get arrogant about it. They get like it really is their money. And this is what we get. And not to mention, our population in Baltimore has consistently gone down. So why is there still this high percentage of poor people? Where's the money going to? We have fewer people over time. I think it's like maybe a little bit more than 550,000 people compared to heights of almost 1 million. Where's the money going to?
Right. Less people, but his office gets bigger, 4 or 5 times bigger. His budget gets 4 or 5 times bigger. I mean, this is a real issue, but this is not new. This is the Democrat Party. They feel like they can do whatever they want and spend however much they want of taxpayer money. And that's why they require high taxes. Listen to this. So it's not over, folks. This mayor, just 2 days ago, March 4th, Mayor Brandon Scott signed an executive order on public safety and immigration. What does this do? It's framed at protecting constitutional rights, okay? But it's really a sanctuary city power grab amid fears that President Trump's deportation is going to surge. So what does he do? He's using tax dollars to provide attorneys for illegals. This executive order bars ICE from using city property for staging or processing without a judicial warrant. It also orders Baltimore police not to assist or interfere with federal immigration operations. All right. And it authorizes the city solicitor and other city attorneys to volunteer their personal time for pro bono representation in immigration courts. Now, that does not mean free, because they're going to get paid by the taxpayer dollars. Okay. So this pulls the law department, the Baltimore City Law Department, that is paid for by taxpayers, into the fray. This is actually blurring lines and wasting resources on non-citizens.
Absolutely.
Kelly, you and I were talking about this today. Why are these Democrats so infatuated with illegals?
Because they use them, again, I contend at least one reason, they use them not just for votes, but they are also able to think about it. A city, a state, those are kind of quote unquote government. They are government entities. They get to write the grants for themselves. They got whole departments that people can write out grants. They can send out grants like an assembly line, right? Change the year, change a few numbers, and get the grant renewed. So they get money for this, which again is another taxpayer stream. Okay. And I want to add something. Those solicitors that they are authorizing to give pro bono time, they're going to get paid from another pot. Let me tell you why. They don't get their salary from the regular pot, but then they're going to get stipends. They're going to get some little incentives. They're going to get gift cards and all kinds of what I'm going to say in-kind or non-in-kind donations for their pro bono time, because now they're volunteering their time, so they have to reward them some kind of way. Then they can't get a salary for volunteering, but they can damn sure get other payments or via other methods of payments through these grants that they're going to use to give them legal advice to illegals on our taxpayer dime. We are still paying for it. We need to show up. We need to show up at a city council meeting. We do.
Yeah, we absolutely do, because this is not the role of our government. It's not. I wish I could. I can't even. I wish I could have someone pay for me to have legal counsel. And I'm an American citizen. If something happens to me and I'm sued, the city doesn't provide legal counsel for me.
Nope. You will go bankrupt. We will go bankrupt.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It is so infuriating, and not enough people are upset enough. And then you know what? The real thing that I can't stand to see these ugly, pudgy Black people at these press conferences standing up for the illegals. And what are you doing? Take a look here. This isn't in Baltimore. This is in PG County, right? They're standing up for these illegals. This is clip 3.
When 8 of the 11 Prince George's County Council members wrapped up their press conference Tuesday announcing a package of 6 measures aimed at protecting immigrants from ICE, they stood shoulder to shoulder with activists and shouted the immigrant advocacy organization's rallying cry. Si se puede! Si se puede. Yes, we can. The council majority clear they stand with immigrants, whether they're here legally or not.
We are united in protecting all of our residents here in Prince George's County.
And so the council is moving ahead with multiple pieces of new legislation. Some we've heard before, banning face coverings, making some county property off limits, and tracking detentions and deportations. But the Prince George's County Council is raising the bar for opposition to ICE with bills which would ban ICE employees from future county employment and require county police to respond to ICE operations to demand agent names, agencies, and badge numbers. Now, legal experts tell me that employment ban could be challenged on constitutional grounds. Now, as for that bill which would have county police respond to and potentially hinder ICE operations, well, that's drawing major criticism from local police officials who tell 7 News it would potentially put them in conflict with federal agents and potentially federal law. The council members are responding to that by saying they're ready for a fight.
If someone is potentially being kidnapped, you need to be able to call 911 and have police show up.
I understand that it is a situation they might not want to be in. But we have residents putting their bodies and their lives in the line for their community and dying. That's not an exaggeration. That is the reality of the current state of this country. So there is a moral responsibility for the people that have training, that get a badge, to show up in uncomfortable situations.
Spokespeople for ICE have consistently said actions like this at the local level damage public safety, but passage is virtually assured here. And since several of the proposals are listed as emergency bills, they would go into effect almost immediately.
Wow. Folks, oh my gosh, I have to calm down because seeing that fat, Coke bottled shrew sit up there and just advocate for illegals. What are you talking about? Kidnap? We're taking you back home. This is not your home. You are not lawfully here. How is it kidnapping you by deporting you and putting you back where you came from? And then they try to push this idea. This is for the Black people. For decades, Black Americans have struggled for economic stability, especially in urban communities, already dealing with wage pressure, housing shortages, and strained public services. When millions of illegals enter the labor market outside of the legal system, we just did a segment on it. The people hit first and hardest are often low-income Americans. Y'all bliggity black asses. And you sitting up here having this old ugly shrew tell you we gotta do it. We gotta put our bodies on the line for illegals. Separate them all, y'all. We got to separate. You can't talk to these people.
No, you can't.
Separation is now. Get out of these areas. Go south. Go Midwest, and leave them to it.
Yeah, it's almost like a form of Stockholm syndrome that these people identify with the very people who are literally hurting them.